within few minutes when I goes close to the cart, the wallet was stolen. And then it was very nice that the devotees, they allow me to climb on the Jagannath cart when they went to the destiny. And they allow me to climb, and I hug Jagannath because they said, you have everything given up, so you are most qualified. So merciful Jagannath. So we are reading the last chapter of the first part of Krishna book, Pradyumna born to Krishna and Rukmini. I will read one paragraph to bring up to the speed because yesterday we were glorifying Madhavendra Puri. Mayavati had mystic knowledge of supernatural power. Supernatural powers are generally known as Maya. And to supersede all such supernatural power, there is another supernatural power, which is called Mahamaya. Mayavati had the knowledge of the mystic power of Mahamaya, and she delivered to Pradyumna this specific energetic power in order to defeat the mystic powers of the Shambhara demon. Thus, being empowered by his wife, Pradyumna immediately went before Shambhara and challenged him to fight. And Pradyumna began to address him in a very strong language so that his temper might be agitated and he would be moved to fight. At Pradyumna's words, the demon Shambhara, being insulted, felt just like a snake feels after being struck by one's leg. A serpent cannot tolerate being kicked by another animal or by a man, and he immediately bites the opponent. That's where we stop for the day. Shambhara felt the words of Pradyumna as if they were kick. He immediately took his club in his hand and appeared before Pradyumna to fight. In great anger, he began to beat Pradyumna with his club, just as a thunderbolt beats a mountain. The demon was also groaning and making a noise like a thundering cloud. Pradyumna protected himself with his own club, and eventually he struck the demon very severely. In this way, the fighting between Shambhara Asur and Pradyumna began very seriously. But Shambhara Asura knew the art of mystic powers and could raise himself in the sky and fight from outer space. There is another demon of the name Maya, and Shambhara Asura learned many mystic powers from him. He thus raised himself high in the sky and began to throw weapons, various types of nuclear weapons, at the body of Pradyumna. In order to combat the mystic power of Shambhara Asura, Pradyumna remembered another mystic power known as Mahavidya, which was different from the black mystic power. The Mahavidya mystic power is based on the quality of goodness. Understanding that his enemy was formidable, Shambhara took assistance from various kinds of demoniac mystic powers belonging to the Guhyakas, the Gandharvas, the Pisachas, the snake and the Rakshasas. But although the demon exhibited his mystic powers and took shelter of supernatural strength, Pradyumna was able to counteract his strength and powers by the superior power of Mahavidya. When Samra Asur was defeated in every respect, Pradyumna then took his sharpened sword and immediately cut off the demon's head, which was decorated with a helmet and with valuable jewels. When Pradyumna thus killed the demon, all the demigods in the higher planetary system began to shower flower on him as a standard. Pradyumna's wife Mayavati could travel in outer space, and therefore they directly reached his father's capital, Dwarka, by the airways. They passed above the palace of Lord Krishna and began to come down as a cloud comes down with lightning. The inner section of a palace is known as Antapur, private apartments. Pradyumna and Mayavati could see that there were many women there, and they sat down among them. When the woman saw Pradyumna dressed in a bluish garments with very long arms, curling hair, beautiful eyes, a smiling reddish face, jewelry and ornament, they first of all could not recognize him as Pradyumna, a personality different from Krishna. They all felt themselves to be very much blessed by the sudden presence of Krishna, and they wanted to hide in a different corner of the palace. So when the woman saw, however, that all the characteristics of Krishna were not present in the personality of Pradyumna, out of curiosity, they came back again to see him and his wife Mayavati. All of them were conjecturing as to who he was, for he was so beautiful. Among the women was Rukmini Devi, who was equally beautiful with her lotus-like eyes. Seeing Pradyumna, she naturally remembered her own son, and milk began to flow from her breast out of motherly affection. She then began to wonder, who is this beautiful young boy? He appears to be the most beautiful person. Who is the fortunate young woman able to give birth to this nice boy in her womb and become his mother? And who is that young woman who has accompanied him? How have they met? Remembering my own son, who was stolen even from the maternity home, I can only guess that if he is living somewhere, he might have grown by this time to be like this boy. Simply by intuition, Rukmini could understand that Pradyumna was her own lost son. She could also observe that Pradyumna resembled Lord Krishna in every respect. She was struck with wonder as to how he acquired all the symptoms of Krishna. She therefore began to think more confidentially that the boy must be her own grown-up son, because she felt much affection for him. And as an auspicious sign, her left arm was trembling. Haribol. This is, I was going to ask someone, because my also left arm He's trembling for a couple of days. I don't know. It's like right over here in this part. And I was thinking, is it auspicious or inauspicious? So my anxiety has been over that. Wonderful. At that every moment, Lord Krishna, along with his father and mother, Devki and Vasudeva, appeared on the scene. Krishna, the Supreme Personality Godhead, could understand everything. Yet, in that situation, he remained silent. However, by the desire of Lord Sri Krishna, the great sage always appeared, Narad Muni, also appeared on the scene, and he began to disclose all the incidences. How Pradyumna had been stolen from the maternity home, and how he had grown up and had come there with his wife Mayavati, who formerly had been Rati, the wife of Cupid. When everyone was informed of the mysterious disappearance of Pradyumna and how he had grown up, they all became struck with wonder because they had gotten back their dead son after they were almost hopeless of his return. When they understood that it was Pradyumna who was present, they began to receive him with great delight. One after another, all of the members of the family, Devki, Vasudeva, Lord Sri Krishna, Lord Balaram, and Rukmini, and all the women of the family began to embrace both Pradyumna and his wife Mayavati. When the news of Pradyumna's return was spread all over the city of Dwarka, all the astonished citizens began to come with great anxiety to see the lost Pradyumna. They began to say, the dead son has come back. What can be more pleasing than this? Haribol. Srila Sukadeva Goswami has explained that in the beginning, all the residents of the palace, who were all mothers and stepmothers of the Pradyumna, mistook him to be Krishna and were all bashful, infected by the desire for conjugal love. The explanation is that Pradyumna's personal appearance is exactly like Krishna's, and he was factually Cupid himself. There was no cause of astonishment. Therefore, when the mothers of the Pradyumna and other women mistook him in that way, it is clear from the statement that Pradyumna's bodily characteristics were so similar to Krishna's that he was mistaken to be Krishna even by his own mother. Thus, and the Bhaktivedanta purport of the 54th chapter of Krishna, Pradyumna bound to Krishna and Rukmini. Thus, and volume 1 of Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So let me go. I have the wonderful big letters book. Let me go to the library room and get the second volume. So this was gifted to me by my god brother Parshuram Prabhu from Fiji when I visited, because I was telling Prabhuji that when I become old, I won't be able to read the small letters. So then he makes sure, I don't know where Prabhuji got it, but he gifted me the 3-volume Krishna book.
How many volumes are there, Prabhuji? Or how many books are there?
There are 3 volumes. It's a very wonderful large book with large letters. So it's very easy to read. That's original Krishna book. So I don't know those prints are available or not now.
Yeah,
But
I have the book, Prabhuji, because I have.
okay. You have all 3 books?
No, I have the first book, Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So the Krishna book I have there.
Maybe only part 1. But there are 3 parts to that.
This one, Prabhuji. I think.
Prabhuji, I have one book, everything, but small letters.
Right. Yeah, that's Krishna book is the new version. But
Oh, I see.
this is the original. This is like a big, and there are
Big
3
one.
volumes to this thing.
Okay, thank you. Yeah.
Yeah. So first, there are lots of pictures are there. On the first picture is Srila Prabhupada. And then on the second page, Krishna and Jambavan fought like 2 opposing vultures. Haribol. And third picture is while Krishna and Arjuna were resting and drinking water, they saw a beautiful girl of marriageable age walking alone at the bank of Yamuna. Haribol. Next picture is Krishna pulled them strongly just as child pulls a tawny wooden bull. Next one is Lord Krishna saw that the trident of the Mura demon was gradually rushing toward his carrier Garuda. So many beautiful pictures. Next one is Rukmini fell down straight like a banana tree cut down by a whirlwind. Haribol. Next is Balram took a club in his hand and without further talk struck Rukmi on the head. Haribol. Next page is when Banasur saw him, Aniruddha was engaged in playing with Usha. Haribol. Then Banasur rushed over Krishna, simultaneously working 500 bows and 2,000 arrows. Haribol. So many pictures. Next one is the demigod was obliged to accept the body of a lizard. Remember the Brahmana promised a cow, and it was just exchange. So we can see when we give a promise to any Brahmana, we make sure that we keep it, otherwise don't give any promise. Balram passed every night with the gopis in forest of Vrindavan. Balram also has the Rasa dance. Seeing Pandruka imitating his posture and dress, he could not check his laughter. Haribol. Next page is this time Narad Muni saw that Lord Krishna was engaged as an affectionate father petting his small children. Next page is Sisupal continued to insult Krishna and Krishna patiently heard him without protest. Haribol. Next page is they were all enjoying the occasion by throwing liquid substance on each other. Hari Hari. Next is Krishna cut off Salva's head, and the head with earring and helmets fell on the ground. Haribol. Next, Balram killed Romaharsana simply by striking him with a blade of grass. Haribol. He was sitting on that dyer and just Balram with the blade of grass. Haribol. Next one. At the first opportunity, Balram dragged the demon down with his paw. Haribol. The women in the palace were surprised to see that the poor Brahmana was seated on the bedstead of Lord Sri Krishna. And Krishna was Sudama's lotus feet. Haribol. Arjuna was simply looking over beautiful Subhadra, who was very enchanting even to the great heroes and kings. Haribol. Next one is the personified Vedas assemble around the Lord and begin to glorify him. Mahavishnu under the Ananta says, Haribol. Oh, lots of picture. The Lord would sprinkle water on the bodies of the queen with a syringe like instrument. That may be in the Gulal Kund. Haribol. The next is the Lord Krishna immediately stood up along with his minister and secretaries to receive the great sage Narad Muni. Haribol. The last one. All the members of the Yadu dynasty again took their baths in the lakes created by Lord Parshuram. Haribol. So we will be embarking on the volume number 2. We offer our humble obeisances at the desk of Srila Srila Prabhupada, who has given us a wonderful pastimes of Krishna. So volume 2, chapter 1, the story of the Syamantaka Jal. There was a king of the name Satrajit within the jurisdictions of Dwarkadham. He was a great devotee of the sun god, who awarded him the benedictions of a jewel known as Syamantaka. And because of this Syamantaka jewel, there was a misunderstanding between King Satrajit and the Yadu dynasty. Later on, the matter was settled when Satyajit voluntarily offered Krishna his daughter Satyabhama, along with the jewel Syamantaka. Not only was Satyabhama married to Krishna on account of the Syamantaka jewel, but Jambavati, the daughter of the Jambavan, was also married to Krishna. These two marriages took place before the appearance of Pradyumna, as described in the last chapter. How King Satrajit offended the Yadu dynasty and how he later on came to his senses and offered his daughter and the Syamantaka jewel to Krishna is described as follows. Wonderful pastimes. Since he was a great devotee of the sun god, King Satrajit gradually entered into a very friendly relationship with him. The sun god was much pleased with him and delivered to him an exceptional jewel known as Syamantaka. When this jewel was worn by Satrajit in a locket around his neck, he appeared exactly like an imitation sun god. Putting on this jewel, he would enter the city of Dwarka, and people would think that the sun god has come into the city to see Krishna. They knew that Krishna, being the Supreme Personality Godhead, was sometime visited by the demigods. So while Satyajit was visiting the city of Dwarka, all the inhabitants except Krishna took him to be the sun god himself. Although King Satyajit was known to everyone, he could not be recognized because of the dazzling effulgence of the Shamantaka Jwal. I think we have reached our time. Sorry, I didn't look at the watch. We are behind 3 minutes late. Sorry. We should be punctual in our practices. We will be telling the wonderful pastimes. So with those thoughts, always remain happy, jubilant, and totally fearless. And whoever you come across, give them a kind word that their life can also become successful and with no fear in the life. With those thoughts, I would like to offer my humble obeisances at the dusk of this wonderful Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis, that they take so much austerity to get up from the bed and join to chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So I touch their feet, who join from Houston, Fresno, Connecticut, New Hampshire, Aurora, Illinois, New York, New Jersey, Virginia, Boston, Boise, Atlanta, Phoenix, Tempe, Austin, College Station, San Jose, Portland, Dallas, Detroit, Chicago, Naperville, Philadelphia, Charlotte, Baltimore, Baton Rouge, Alachua, Orlando, Sanford, Jacksonville, St. Louis, San Diego, Loganville, Georgia, Maine, Ottawa, New Orleans, Toronto, Calcutta, New Delhi, and Pondicherry. Also, Tapti Ghosh Mataji also joined. I don't know from which city she is joining. So I think that devotees has to resume their duties. They are most welcome to leave. And the devotees who would like to hang around for another hour, I will be chanting from 7 to 7:30. And then some devotees has to chant one by one. And in between, if there is gap, I will chant for maximum 3 minutes. And within that 3 minutes,